You have no enemies, you say. Alas, my friend, the boast is poor. He who has mingled in the fray of duty that the brave endure must have made foes. If you have none, small is the work that you have done. You've hit no traitor on the head. You've dashed no cup from perjured lips. You've never turned the wrong to right. You've been a coward in the fight. And a coward she was not. Benazir Bhutto's life was not simply a political journey. It was a testament to resilience in the face of adversity, to hope amid despair, to an unshakable belief the destiny of the nation could and should be shaped by its people. She stood for a Pakistan that was democratic, progressive, and inclusive, a Pakistan that honored its founding principles rather than betrayed them. She was the first woman to lead a Muslim-majority nation, but her fight was never just for women alone. It was for all those who were silenced, all those who were marginalized, and all those who believed in a better tomorrow. When she took the oath of office, she did so with the knowledge that her very existence in that role challenged deep-seated prejudice. And yet she stood firm. She faced conspiracies, military interventions, exiles, and even imprisonment, but she never surrendered. Her belief in democracy was unwavering, but as we have seen, democracy is not an end, it is a process that requires constant vigilance, sacrifice, and courage to speak truth to power. Today, we see democracy under strain across the world. Authoritarian tendencies are on the rise. The voices of the people are often drowned out by the machinery of oppression. Even in countries where democracy was once thought unshakable, we see polarization, disinformation, and erosion of civil liberties. But if my mother's struggle taught us anything, it's that democracy is worth fighting for. It's not the privilege of a few, it's a right of all. It's not a gift that is handed down, it is a right that must be constantly reclaimed. Pakistan's own democratic journey has been one of struggle and sacrifice, and yet we persist. As we reflect on my mother's struggle for democracy, it's important to acknowledge the crisis facing Pakistan today. Today's opposition argues that the tools once used against her, political engineering, judicial manipulation, media suppression, are still being deployed, but the context is vastly different. In her time, these tools were wielded to undermine the democratic leader, one who fought for constitutional rule, the supremacy of parliament, and civilian government, populist autocrat whose politics stand in stark contrast to the democratic principles my mother's championed. During the current opposition's time in power, they eroded democratic norms rather than strengthened them. They openly embraced authoritarian tendencies, used state institutions to target their opponents, attacked the judiciary when it ruled against them, and sought to undermine the very parliament they were elected to lead. Their government cracked down on dissent, curtailed press freedoms, and systematically marginalized opposition parties. Even now, while they present themselves as victims of political repression, they fail to acknowledge that the very mechanisms allegedly being used against them were legitimized and weaponized under their own rule. This is not to say that Pakistan's democracy is thriving, far from it. The political landscape remains fraught with challenges, and the space for genuine democratic discourse continues to shrink. And quickly, what's going on today with the democratic struggles of leaders like my mother is just not historically inaccurate. It's a dangerous distortion. The fight for democracy is not about individual. That's what I just wanted to. It's too far away. The fight. Sorry. The fight for democracy is not about individual personalities. It's about institutions, principles, and rule of law. A true democracy does not serve the whims of one leader, nor does it crumble when they face legal or political accountability. Pakistan's future cannot and must not be dictated by populism, authoritarianism masquerading as reform. It must be built on constitutional democracy, on an independent judiciary, a free press, and the empowerment of its people. The lessons of my mother's legacy is clear. That democracy is not about any single leader. It is about a system that guarantees the rights and voices of all. And that is the fight that must continue today. But as a Pakistani that believes our country has lost its way and deserves so much better. My mother's vision for Pakistan was one where democracy flourished, where economic opportunity was available to all, where women are empowered and the minorities are protected, and extremism has no place. That vision is still possible, but it requires courage, unity, and resilience. Pakistan must reclaim its democratic promise. It must uphold the rule of law, protect fundamental freedoms, and ensure that power rests with the people. This is not just Pakistan's struggle. It is a struggle for every nation that believes in democracy and justice. The people of Pakistan have the right to demand a better future. They deserve a better future than what the Pakistan's populist opposition record shows that they would do if they were back in power. And they deserve better than what the current government is delivering to them today. They also certainly do not deserve another military coup. So what are our options? For those of us who believe in Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto's legacy, in a peaceful, prosperous, and progressive Pakistan, at peace with ourselves and our neighbours, unconfined by our internal political dysfunction, Pakistan's potential unleashed on the world stage would be formidable. That is exactly what the people of Pakistan deserve. 65% of our population is under the age of 35. And much of them have become a delusion